Lugalbanda, the king of Uruk, gripped the lion-head armrest of his basalt throne, his knuckles pale as bleached linen. Before him, Princess Shamhat stood barefoot on a broken clay brick, a shattered foundation figurine at her feet. Her voice cut through the silence, sharp as a flint blade. "You hold the army's seal, but your hands tremble like reeds in the flood. The Martu tribes raid our caravans while you count grain. I would burn their camps to ash." King Lugalbanda's gaze never wavered from the cuneiform tablet in his lap, a report of withered barley fields. "Ruling is not burning, daughter. It is balancing the flood and the drought. You speak of war like a child throwing stones at a lion." He lifted a withered hand toward the vaulted ceiling. "The heavens grant kingship to the steady hand." She snatched the lapis lazuli seal hanging from King Lugalbanda's belt, the symbol of Uruk's treasury. He lunged, but she danced back, clutching the seal like a trophy. "I need no decrees from a fading king. I'll build my own city and kingdom, where the Euphrates bites the desert. And I'll take Uruk's strength with me." Outside the palace gates, 40 veterans, men who had fought Martu tribes, stood armed with copper spears. Beside them, mules groaned under sacks of Uruk's seed grain. Shamhat had paid them in silver. King Lugalbanda sagged against the throne. "Go then, but the desert eats ambition whole, child." Shamhat spat at the floor. "Rot here then, old man." She turned her back on the throne, the palace. Shamhat led her veterans north for 19 days, following dried wadis where vultures circled bones. Her map was arrogance, her compass, contempt. The stolen lapis seal hung heavy around her neck, her symbol of power now. On the 19th day, the Euphrates vanished behind dunes. The air turned thick and green-tinged. Sulfur vents hissed like serpents. "Where is the river?" growled a veteran, his lips cracked. Shamhat pointed toward jagged peaks. "Aratta's mines lie there. We take their copper, then build." But the veterans faltered. One by one, they drank the last water skins, then abandoned their seed grain sacks in the sand. At dusk, a Khamsin wind rose, a scorching demon that blotted the sun. When the storm passed, Shamhat stood alone. The veterans had vanished, taking the last mule. Like a lost, withered leaf, Shamhat crawled and stumbled into a canyon of black obsidian. Thereafter, shadows moved on the cliffs. Figures wrapped in wolf pelts watched, silent as scorpions. Shamhat raised King Lugalbanda's seal. "I am royalty. Who are you? Lead me to your lord." A stone slingshot cracked her wrist. The seal fell. A net of thorned acacia thongs slammed down. Barbs bit deep. A voice laughed. "Royals bleed like goats here." Rough hands bound her. The last thing she saw, her lapis seal trampled into the dust by a bare, scarred foot. Whispers of the latest captivity reached the ears of King Lugalbanda through his most trusted steward. Grief etched new lines on Lugalbanda's face, even deeper than cuneiform. He summoned his only son, the general of his army, Prince Dumuzi, whose eyes held the same steady light as the morning star. King Lugalbanda pressed a heavy seal ring of lapis lazuli into Dumuzi's palm, the mark of his house. "Bring her back, my son. Whatever Kale demands in silver or grain, pay it." Dumuzi journeyed, disguised as a wealthy merchant's son, his guards, mere hired spearmen, navigating treacherous mountain passes where vultures circled. He stood before Kale's jagged basalt throne in the smoke-choked hall, lit by roaring forge fires that cast monstrous, dancing shapes. He opened a chest. Within, gleaming ingots of refined Uruk copper and sacks bulging with millet spilled forth. "I come for the woman, Shamhat of Uruk. Name her weight in copper, King Kale." Kale's laughter echoed like stones falling in a deep well. "Copper? Aratta bleeds copper, princeling." His obsidian eyes glinted with a cruel light. A flick of his finger, thick with gold rings. Shadows moved. Kale's elite guard, clad in scaled copper armor, blades ready to cut through flesh, stepped forward. Dumuzi, the general of Uruk, would not even for once lift his hands or a sword, and he also commanded his guards to stand back. But Kale was no champion of fair combat. As Dumuzi was still facing Kale's soldiers, Kale surged from his throne, a jagged dagger from behind into Dumuzi. It plunged deep between Dumuzi's shoulder blades. He crumpled forward, his lifeblood becomes a spreading pool on the polished basalt floor. Realizing the implication of what he has just done, Kale dropped the bloody obsidian dagger and fled into the warren of smelting tunnels beneath his citadel. Abandoned throne. Ran away on seeing the calamity he had just caused. Deep in the suffocating copper mines, Shamhat, swinging a stone hammer against ore, felt an icy shard pierce her own back. A cry tore from her lips, lost in the clang of hammers. She clutched her chest, eyes wide with terror at the phantom agony, then collapsed, crimson blood welling from her mouth onto the ore-strewn rock. Died simultaneously, shedding blood. King Lugalbanda, in his rooftop garden before the heavens, felt the world tilt. He knew. A silent howl escaped his lips. He pressed a tiny obsidian vial into the hand of Malik, Lugalbanda's kinsman and chief steward. Within the vial is an unnatural, cool blue-white fluid drawn from a hidden spring. "Go to Dumuzi." Malik rode through the night, changing horses at way stations, driving them to lather. He found Dumuzi's body in the silent, smoke-stained throne room, stiffening. Malik ignored the stench of death. He knelt, gently pried the prince's cold lips apart, and let the single, radiant drop fall onto his tongue. Immediately, his chest rose with a shuddering breath. Eyes, clear and alive, snapped open. At that exact moment, deep in the mine, Shamhat's body jerked violently. The flow of blood ceased. Pallor receded from her skin like a tide. Her eyes flew open, filled with a terror deeper than the mine shaft's darkness. Dumuzi's strength returning like the Euphrates in flood season found Shamhat wandering the citadel's lower tunnels, dazed but breathing. He saw the fear warring with shock in her eyes. "Come," he said, his voice resonant with power earned beyond death. "Father waits." The journey back was silent beneath the pitiless sun. King Lugalbanda met them not at the towering gate of Ishtar, but at the palace precinct. Without words, he led Shamhat, still reeking of sulfur and copper, clad in rags, down worn stone steps to the ritual pool fed by the sacred river. He poured fragrant cedar oil over her matted hair, scrubbed the ingrained grime of Aratta from her skin with hyssop branches and fine river silt, the water turning black, then clearing with each pass. This was a stripping away of the foreign stain, the rebirth of identity. When she emerged, skin glowing like polished ivory, hair dark and clean as fertile silt, she was a stranger. King Lugalbanda placed his heavy hands on her head, then Dumuzi's. "Shamhat of Aratta is dead. You are reborn now. Dumuzi, shepherd of my house, you shall bind her here. Take her as your wife." And by this act, King Lugalbanda adopts her as his daughter by marriage. The wedding feast roared within King Lugalbanda's hall, lyres and drums, the smell of roasting lamb and honeyed dates. Later, alone in the bridal chamber, Dumuzi went out shortly to meet King Lugalbanda, fragrant with cedar oil and myrrh, moonlight streaming through the high window. Shamhat felt it, the familiar, choking reek of sulfur and hot metal. A shadow, blacker than night, peeled from behind a tapestry woven with protective spirals. Kale appears, eyes burning like forged coals, stinking of the tunnels, lunged. "Mine, slave," he rasped. Kale fought with the brute strength of the mines, but Shamhat moved with the eerie certainty of one who had crossed the river of death. He jagged an obsidian dagger he had kept flashing in the moonlight. "Die, unfaithful one." He drove it once, twice, deep into her side. Shamhat gasped, but instead of searing pain, a strange warmth spread. No blood flowed. Instead, liquid light streamed from the wounds, shimmering like molten gold, deep as lapis lazuli, vibrant as malachite, pooling on the white linen beneath her. She looked up at Kale, her face serene in the moonlight, a terrifying smile touching her lips. "I died in the copper mines of Aratta," she whispered, her voice clear as bells. Her hand, impossibly strong, clamped on his dagger wrist. With preternatural speed, she whipped heavy chains of smelted Aratta copper, chains she knew too well, around his thrashing body, binding him tight. She dragged the cursing shadow of her past, the once king of Aratta, down echoing stairs to the deepest, driest cellar beneath the palace, a place of eternal darkness reserved for traitors. Dawn painted the eastern sky with the pale gold of ripe barley. Shamhat, still in her wedding linens, walked calmly to the rooftop garden where King Lugalbanda stood, with Dumuzi, her husband. She walked to King Lugalbanda, who had sent his son into darkness for her, who had washed the mines from her skin, who had named her anew. She sank to her knees on the sun-warmed mud bricks, bowing low. Her voice, clear and unwavering, rose with the morning air. "My king, my father, the life weighed far beyond copper you paid, the death you overturned, the chains you broke, I am yours, not by the command of the tablet, but by the choice written on my heart. Let me serve your house, as the humblest handmaiden serves, all the days you have granted me." Beau's knees swears to be his slave. Dumuzi, with radiance in his face, glued to his new bride-turned-slave, gently, firmly lifted her from the earth, pulling her into an embrace as strong and life-giving as the river itself. He held her as the sun's light bathed the city, the final echoes of Aratta's forges fading in the distance. Lifts her up and hugs her,